Hey friends, we're about to go walk Arkansas and Louisiana. Today I'm going to show you where we're walking through the states and how we plan our routes. I'm going to do a screen recording so you guys can follow along right here. This is our Arkansas and Louisiana route, and I'll touch on a few of the towns that we're going through on our way south. Of course, we're going to start north because it's only going to get colder, and we will begin in Tuckerman. We'll get dropped off there, and on our first walking day, we will walk down to Newport here. We'll be on 367. We'll take 14 over to 367 here, and we'll hit several small towns following the interstate, staying on 367. There's Bradford, Russell, Bald Knob, we'll pass several small towns, so I'm probably not going to list all of them, but there's Kensett. Continue on 367 still. Oh, I almost passed. That's worth touching on. Searcy, it's a pretty big city for us, for walking. We might take 67 into town, or this road here, 36. And we'll hop right back down to 367 and continue south. Stay on 367 for quite a while. And we're not hopping on the interstate here. This is a road that's just really close to it. It follows along, that we'll take for quite a while. And we'll take that road into Little Rock. How far we go into town depends on where we'll be camping and where we get food. So I'm not sure exactly if we'll go as far as the dots are showing, but we'll take that road into town, and then we will take 165 out of town, hitting several more little towns along the way. There's multiple bubbles here because they're both safe routes, so it really just depends on what we decide to do in the moment. They're both an option. And those will take us into Pine Bluff, one of the bigger towns we'll be walking. And we'll be on 65 for a little while. Oh, and I put these apples here marking grocery stops because it's really important to plan our resupply so we know how much food to carry in between towns. Food weight is a huge deal. It's good to plan ahead. McGehee? We'll find out when we get there. Wilmot, still on 165. I think it was 165 that turned 65. So we're really sticking to the same road for quite some time on a lot of these stretches here. And that looks like it's turning, but it's still 165. Into, what's this one? Bastrop? Bastrop? It's like every other town we go into, the locals are like, that's not how you say it. Still on 165. And then Monroe. This one's gonna be fun. As you can see, it's kind of a mess of pins that I've dropped here because I have a few ideas of how we can walk into town, but it's not a very clear answer. They're all a little dangerous looking, so I'm thinking I'll keep a couple routes open and we'll ask locals when we get there. That's always helpful. Ask about how busy this or that road is and get their advice. And we will continue south on 165 still. Banks Springs. Go by Alla. We'll probably walk into town depending on where we're camping and getting food and whatnot. Tulos, Georgetown. I think slid. Okay. Pollock. Oh, and as you can see here, I have these arrow symbols. That marks when there is not a shoulder, so I can remember when I'm trying to figure out how to navigate around it, where to and from the shoulder is. Where are you going, Jack? You forget about me up here. As you can see, it's not a huge gap where there's no shoulder, and there's not really a good road that parallels it that we can get around, but it looks like a not very populated area, so I'm sure we'll be fine to walk in the lane for that short little bit. Which one is this? Alexandria. Such a pretty name for a town. We'll either take 165 in. I think I was considering taking this back road, Business 165 or Military Highway. So we'll have to see how busy it looks when we get there, but it looks like both of them are probably an option. Bridges are really important to check because a lot of roads, if there's no shoulder, you can at least step into the grass or gravel or something, but a bridge might just force you into the lane, and if it's very long, it can be really dangerous. But thankfully this one has a whole separate walking section. Such a luxury. Those aren't very common. We'll take this main road here through town. We'll change roads several times, navigating around the busier roads until we get back on the road here, right about when the shoulder comes back up. No shoulder, and then shoulder. Beautiful. Whew, my hands are getting so cold. I'm gonna pour me some fresh coffee. I think my winter coat's gonna do good. I'm like really toasty on my core, but my fingers are freezing. Forest Hill. McNary. Glenmora. Oakdale. That looks complicated, doesn't it? I think we're going to try and get off the main road here because it loses its shoulder way up here, but there's not a good option immediately. So we'll walk it for that little bit there, and then we'll turn on Wright Road, go down here, and then we'll cross the main highway over to this area. We'll work our way through town to avoid the no shoulder busy road. And we'll come down here, and we'll have to hop back on the road here. Shortly after that, the shoulder's back, so we're safe after that. Oh, and these pins. This is my not walkable roadblock symbol because it looks like a road from the top down, but there's a gate here. The road goes through some sort of business parking lot area or something. So just in case we're like, oh, I think we'll go that way. And then we run into that in person, not realizing because I can't remember everything that I'm mapping now in a month, but it's helpful to note. And there's another area like that up here where there's just a gate in the entrance of the road, so it's good to know ahead of time. We've ran into a few of those. Not fun. Oberlin. Kinder. You guys will have to tell me later how many I mispronounced if you know. Stick on 165 down to Iowa, Louisiana. And I think this road follows the interstate here. We'll not actually get on the interstates. They're illegal to walk in almost every state. Hey, puppy. We'll hop down off. I'm not going to pronounce that. I'm just going to fail epically. So East Ward Line Road, over on Fridge Street, and we will probably come over here and then drop down into the more suburban areas where it's less trafficked as soon as we can. Once you get in town, there's a lot of sidewalks, so you don't got to worry about the shoulders as much. And we don't have an exact spot that we're going to end up, but we're going to end in Lake Charles, and hopefully we'll have time that day to make it towards the center of town to get to see it a little bit. And looks like a pretty area. Looks like the main downtown where everything's happening. And we'll end in the beautiful looking Lake Charles area of Louisiana. And this random pin down here, it was very fitting that we went this direction because this is where we camped in our van on Rutherford Beach. Beautiful, beautiful spot. Free camping, you just drive up on the shore and hope you don't get stuck. And yeah, that is our overall map of Arkansas and Louisiana. There's a few random pins you see here, just so I could do a little more to show you guys why or why not we would walk an area. Originally, I was trying to see if we could walk 167 more north, but after going through Batesville, I started running into areas without a shoulder, and we can do that for a little bit, but not very long. It's just not safe to do for more than a tiny bit. Just a lot of not shoulder here. And I think it was miles, several miles long. No shoulder still. All the way down to there at least. So we decided to route a little more northeast. And another thing that I ran into, I had to redo this whole chunk here. You see how it goes around on the right? I had to go redo like 2 weeks worth of walking because I ran into this after getting into Louisiana. This symbol here means that there's a rumble strip where we would typically be walking. And if you didn't know, because we have our carts with wheels on them, we cannot be on the rumble strip. You're just bouncing all day, and puppy can't stay on the cart very well if that lasts long at all. And it's hard on our dollies and our bearings, and just uncomfortable, unwieldy. We can't do it. And I ran into it so many times on this highway that I just had to reroute, even though it took several more hours to do. It's worth it rather than having several days of this. And otherwise, we just look for mostly shouldered roads, or if they're not very traveled, they don't look like it's high traffic, then we can go without a shoulder, but we have to be fairly certain. You can look at how many cars are on the road when you click it like this. There's not much shoulder here, but it's between two really small towns, and I only see one car on the road. Or if you're on a more of a main highway, like, let's see, maybe this is one. Like this, It's okay if there's a good amount of traffic because there's more than enough space for us. And those are really ideal. It doesn't matter how much traffic there is. If we have 8 feet of space, it's way better than being in the lane with even just a few cars. And other than road conditions, of course, the first thing we look into is how the weather is for the area. We try and estimate the time of the month we'll get there. We look into average weather temperatures for certain cities and the general area that we're walking. And we'll have a little bit of a cold winter, but it shouldn't be too bad. We're pretty prepared. We've gotten a lot of warmer coats and sleeping bags and all that fun stuff. Hopefully our gloves hold up. My hands are pretty cold right now, and it's only like 54 degrees out. Oh, my background. So cute. All right, well, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed following along. Hopefully that answered many of the questions that we get about how we plan our routes, and we can't wait to see Arkansas and Louisiana. Bye, guys.